Step 3 is related to the unconscious dynamics within our family system. And let's talk about what a system is, and so we can understand a little bit of the dynamics that play within the family system. So when two people meet, right, this person has or belongs to a system, because if this is a man, this person comes or is connected to a system already. And this woman is also connected to a system. So when these two systems meet, they decide to maybe live together or marry, because you don't have to be married to make a system. When something happens already here, it's already like they decide to live an experience as a couple, then it's already a system. So this system can be affected by what is behind themselves, right? Which is their own systems. And so this system needs to adjust. Each of these two needs to adjust to the other system, because it's not just what you see, it's not what the two people that you see here, but what is behind them. And let's say that this system decides to have children. So maybe they have 1, 2, and 3. Let's put just an example. So this system, or within that system, there is already subsystems. So there is the subsystem of the siblings, for example. And then another subsystem of that system would be actually mom and dad. So another subsystem could be mom and the children, or dad and the children. So because the dynamics play like that. And we're gonna talk a little bit about those dynamics that can create unconscious relationships. And of course, it is because each of these parents come with a system. And so they do it the same. Let's put it this way. Sometimes they are loyal to their system, so they do it the same. And that's pretty much this system is connected to other systems, and of course to their ancestral system, and we are all connected as one. That's why we are so affected by our systems behind ourselves, the ones we are connected to. And when we create a new system, then that system, of course, is bringing a lot to probably the descendants as well. The way you act, the way you behave, your decisions are more connected to your system, the one behind you. And so when you connect with someone else, there is a process of adjustment to the other system that don't do it the same, probably. So all of these things that I'm saying is because when the relationships between all of the members of the system or those subsystems, well, when they don't agree on the same, right, then that creates conflict. So let's talk, I'm gonna give an example so you can understand a little bit of how that can work. It happens that sometimes, let's say this, mom and dad are here, right? Or no, this new couple is here. And let's say that the mother of the guy was too connected to this boy, right? Somehow this woman, which is the mother of this man, kind of comes in the scene. Sometimes the mother-in-law wants to be in the scene, let's put it this way. And so that could be affecting this relationship because it interferes with that relationship energetically. It's all energetically. Why? Because maybe this mom and this man didn't get to pass a stage in the life of this man when he maybe was a child, and I'm going to talk about that. Let's go deeper with this example. Let's say, or it's not said, it is, there's the complexes of Oedipus and Electra. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about this. There is a stage on a child when he or she becomes like falls in love with mom or dad. And we all went through the same. We think that mom is the most beautiful or dad is the most amazing, right? And that's normal. That's a stage that kids go through. The thing is that when that is not well managed, and when that stage doesn't move on or develops the way it should, then that creates a conflict. How? Let's say that this man and the daughter, right? Or this boy, we were talking about this man and his mother. Let's take the same example. This man and his mother. When this man couldn't overcome, or this stage somehow got connected, created a cord, energetic cord with his mother. And when he grows older, maybe as an adult, he sees or he looks maybe for his mother in his partner relationship. That's one of the things that could happen. Other thing that could happen is that maybe this kid or this man is not gonna look for anybody that could be better than his mother. So it's like the mother, and I don't know if this happens in this culture a lot, but in the Latin culture, for example, it happens that the mother-in-laws interfere a lot. Like my mom used to do it like this. My mom was the best at cooking. My mom was the best at, so that's a way of energetically be present. The mother is energetically present because this man allows that, because it hasn't cut that cord with mom. So that definitely is going to interfere in his relationship with his new wife or partner to be. And the same thing can happen here with the father of this woman, right? Or even with the mother too. You know, some women are too close to mom, or some women are too close to dad. And that probably was because that cord wasn't cut in a healthy way. And how you can cut this cord, because we don't know it, we do it unconsciously. Let's say that this is like, if we're talking about the subsystems, the subsystem between this man and his mom was like that. That was the relationship that they created that couldn't be cut healthy, because maybe mom, this mother, had preferences for this child and put him first before her husband. So it's whatever my kid says, my kid is right, my husband doesn't know, my husband doesn't count, my husband. So somehow you create that division and you put your kid kind of next to you to become that as important as the father. Let's put it this way. When that happens, as they grow older, energetically, they can be like partners. See? And the father is excluded. That's what happens in these unconscious movements, dynamics that play, and we don't know how we are acting, because sometimes parents don't know this and they don't take action to put order in that sort of relationship. So how can we organize something like that, right? That could be that maybe the mother could say, because the child, maybe this child, when he was a child, wanted more love or more attention or more something. There's always a need of the child that wants to be in the middle of that relationship. And the mother tends to love this child, thinking that it's giving him maybe love, but it's actually creating a conflict that is going to affect both of them. Actually, no, the whole system is going to affect the mother, is going to affect this child, especially when he grows adult, and also the father, which is being excluded. So how can we fix something like this? We need to create some order in that system. And maybe the mother could have said, you are the son and I am the mother. And your father is your father is my husband. And that is your place and this is your place. So creating just that order is cutting the cord energetically. And because when we were children, we all have wounds to heal. And we had the perception of not getting something. Like we got the perception of not having enough love, enough attention, enough care. So we needed to manipulate the situation to get what I need. And if this child maybe felt like needed more love, maybe he starts manipulating ways to maybe ask this mother or to be next to mom and say, because the kids actually I've heard kids say, Mom, would you love me more than that? For example, simple things like that. And maybe the mother could say, yes, you will always be my love. Simple words like that make the child think that, oh, my mom is going to give me what no one else is going to give me. And that creates a conflict there. Because when he grows older, he's not going to find that love anywhere else, only with mom. And mom is going to be so attached to this boy that probably her husband is not going to be more like related to that actual partnership that they have, that maybe he will go look somewhere else for that love. And then women complain about why maybe they go and have affairs. See, it's all like a game that it starts with little things, but starts developing into something bigger. And we cannot realize it because it's all unconscious. So these conflicts, this sort of relationships that we create when we were a child with mom and dad and with our siblings, created a lot of situations conflicts that we are still living, unresolved conflicts, because there is no order in the system, but also because we thought we needed something else. We felt like I need some more love, I need some more attention, and I need some more of something. So that missing thing is what makes me create these dynamics that are unhealthy, actually. They're unhealthy relationships that I, as a child, got to get what I feel I need, but it's not. In reality, you're not getting that from mom or dad, because that's unconsciously a pattern that I feel, in my perspective, I feel like I need something and I'm gonna get it no matter what. So if I need attention, probably I will create something for mom or dad to see me. And if I find ways for them to see me and they recognize me, maybe I can go through that stage in a healthy way. But if mom and dad didn't get to see me, then maybe I feel like no one sees me. And when I feel like no one sees me, then I need to show myself, I need some attention. How can I create attention from them? So maybe what I can do is I can get sick, for example. If I get sick, maybe mom and dad will pay attention to me. So I get to become maybe the victim. Oh, every time I get sick, they pay attention to me. So when I grow older, I know that I can maybe manipulate what I want by creating a situation that I can call the attention. So I can get that love or that attention that I need. And so that's how the victim, for example, starts playing the games as when they are children, and as an adult, they still play the same sort of dynamics. They need to manipulate, even though it's painful for themselves. For example, if I felt, because it's all related to the wounds that we felt as children, right? There are 5 main wounds that we felt. One was abandonment, betrayal, rejection, injustice, or humiliation. So depending on the wound, we created these sort of mechanisms to survive. And those mechanisms to survive created these masks. And so maybe I have to be the good girl or the good boy to get something that I need. So I know that if I behave this way, I'm going to get what I need. And so that is a way of manipulating to get what you feel you need, that you feel is missing, that is like a gap. And those emptiness that we're trying to fulfill, we fulfill them in an unconscious way. And then when we don't have mom and dad, we then try to look for those emptiness to be fulfilled out there in the world, with mostly with our partner relationship. And that's how these dynamics get to play, because we just are playing the same game as when we were a child. So pretty much all the conflicts and all of these dynamics are an inner child that couldn't be resolved, and because it's looking for love, attention. There are many things that a child maybe thought that needed. I need to be validated, I need to be accepted, I need to be, it depends on which one is your one, the need is there. So we need to go through each of those, and we will, because we have another step where we will be talking about the wounds, and we will go deeply into that and how we put these masks to be this to get what I need. So that's part of the game, but I wanted, that's part of the program. But what I wanted to say is that all of the unconscious dynamics that play in the relationships are related to what I thought I needed. Let's say the subsystem of the brothers, the siblings, let's say that maybe the oldest one decided to be, take the responsibility of the youngest ones, because mom and dad are absent. They have to work all day long and whatever. So they become mom or dad. They become the ones that are telling the other ones how to do, how to behave, or what not to do. They kind of take that responsibility, right? That is a disorder in the system, but at the same time, eventually maybe the oldest one can actually look for recognition. I want you to validate me that I'm doing all of this for you. And maybe if the other brothers or sisters don't do it, then it creates a conflict, because it's like, oh, all what I've been doing for you and you're not responding to me the way I'm expecting. So all of these conflicts, all of those are kind of manipulations somehow. I have an interest behind. I'm doing something because I have an interest of getting something else from it. So and then the problem comes when I don't feel satisfied by giving and not receiving what I was expecting. Other dynamic that is created from childhood is the codependency, for example. Like as just I said before, when a person feels like the only way to call the attention is to become the victim of something. So for that, when I grow older, maybe I look for someone to abuse me so I can become the victim and have a perpetrator. And that is unconscious, of course, but that's what is attracting, because the only way for people to see me, to call the attention, is to become that victim. So it's a self-sabotaging your own life, so you cannot be happy, because if you become happy, no one is going to pay attention to you, so you cannot play anymore that game, that dynamic. And so that's why we keep doing the same sort of games. And the same thing, this person needs to find a perpetrator. The perpetrator needs to find a victim so he can become the controller. I'm going to save you, but at the same time, I'm controlling you. So that game, that's a dynamic that plays like that. Both of them need each other. I need you to make me the victim, and I need you to be the victim. So it's like the controller needs this person to wants to be needed. You know, I need you because of this. I need love. I need help. I need. And this person, the controller, maybe can say, I'm going to help you so I can control you, because that's pretty much the relationship between both of them. They need each other. There is I need you. They both need each other.
It's the perfect match.
It's the perfect match, exactly.
And it feels like soulmates, no? It actually is the same, the other side of the same coin.
It is. And they can jump actually from one to the other. Like there is one of them is stronger in each, but they can jump from one to the other. So maybe the controller then becomes the victim, and then the victim becomes the controller. So it's because they both have the same wound. That's why they connected. They attracted as a couple. And that's why they made this system, because they both have the same, pretty much. And what they need to do is be able to see that, to transcend that. And that's why they play all of these dynamics, because they played them when they were children in this system that wasn't resolved either. Probably if you see the system behind them, you see mom and dad, they had certain issues that were kind of the same. And if you see beyond that, probably their grandparents had the same sort of situations, and that wasn't resolved either. So the descendants are doing exactly the same.
Is there one particular wound that gives rise to the victim and controlling situation?
Yes. The victim usually has the wound of abandonment. Mm-hmm. And the controller usually has the wound of betrayal. So each wound has a mask or a way to do things, because those are just reactions and behaviors that we do to get what we feel we need. We need validation, we need recognition, we need attention, we need love. What is it? Approval. What is it that you need that is making you act this way and you don't see it? Because it's all unconscious. It's not like you want to become the controller, but somehow you, and people think that is their personality. Oh, that's my personality, right? But it goes beyond the personality. You created that to behave that way because it's the only way for you to get what you need.
It's the survival mechanism, no? It's how we survive childhood.
It's a childhood mechanism of survival. And actually, it was good for us somehow to have it. Yeah. Otherwise, it could have been so painful to feel like mom left to go to work and then I feel abandoned. Every day she leaves, this kid is gonna feel abandoned. So the only way for me, for her to come back, maybe if I get sick, or maybe if it's a kid that feels like I need to call the attention, maybe he does a lot of things at school. And then they are calling this mom all the time, hey, your kid is doing this, your kid is doing that. So this kid is asking for some sort of attention. And the only way for that kid is doing it that way. So it's like all of the things that we do are speaking. They are not just because this kid is hyperactive and they just blame it on other things, but it's because there is something that hasn't been resolved in the parents. So these children are expressing what hasn't been resolved. And they are already living the same because we actually have the same wounds as our parents. What they couldn't resolve is, again, as a repetitive pattern, going down the hill, doing the same thing. So we need to be aware of that, and that's the only way to change that. And we will have a whole step on the wounds that's coming soon. I don't know if it's the next one or the following, but I'm going to be talking about the 5 wounds and all the behaviors that each one creates and what is looking for. What is each of those looking for? Because once we get to understand that we are playing a dynamic that we learn how to play at home, because maybe my mom and my dad, that was the only way to get what I needed. Then maybe as an adult, I do the same. I do the same with my partner, even with our children too. We still play the victim with our children. And we put all of this burden on them because we don't know it. But if my parents didn't give it to me, if my husband doesn't give it to me, maybe I can just look for that love in my children. So the children, they would do anything for mom and dad because they also are in need of that love and attention. I will carry that for you, mom. And that's how we carry all of these burdens from our parents. So all of those dynamics, this is just a little bit of the information, but we can go very deep into it. But all of the manipulations that we do, we are all the time manipulating when we feel we need something. And that's not the adult conscious, the conscious adult in us, but it's the non-resolved inner child in us. That's the one that creates all of these dynamics. The victimization, the codependency, the manipulation, all of them are related and created by this inner child that needs something. We need to find what it is that my inner child needs. Otherwise, I keep playing the same games, the same dynamics with others, and expecting to get that.
And that's why we attract this kind of partnership that we then leave so wounded, no? And we say, oh, he was like this, he was like that, but actually it is to heal that we attract this person, because otherwise we're gonna reenact and we're gonna keep attracting until the situation is too painful to survive it. But it's actually to heal. So better to heal with the person we have in front of us, because that's the purpose.
It is the purpose, it's the best opportunity to do it. So if we get to see that and take advantage of that, actually both of them get to see that, can make that relationship flow organically. Otherwise, they're going to keep creating these conflicts because this inner child wants something that didn't get from mom and dad. And this inner child needs something that didn't get, or feel that didn't get from mom and dad. And since they didn't give it to me, I want you to give it to me because I need it. Hold on. So that's it. So that's what happens when you don't give me what I need and you don't give me what I need, because these are two inner childs that are in that conflict, then they both start struggling in the relationship. Or they can play the game. Because the only way they find a solution is to play the game, the unconscious dynamics. Okay, abuse me and I'll be the victim. Oh, okay, you'll be the perpetrator. Okay, let's switch now. I'll be the perpetrator, you'll be the victim. And that kind of game works, of course, until certain point, because at certain point they are going to see that no matter what, that's not the solution, that is not there. What they are looking for is not there. And that's when we got to that realization to say, I need help because I don't know what it is then. I'm looking for this love, and I'm looking at someone else that also is lacking the same love. So they have empty this tank of love. They cannot be giving what they don't have. And so we need some help at that point. We need to see that love actually comes through our parents and is within ourselves, but we cannot recognize it because we are in this physical reality where this child saw it differently. We forget about our divinity and our divine love, and we feel like we need it. It's not there. I'm empty of that.
I'm wondering how, in a way, one of the things I talk to people about is karma yoga, and that you can act without an expectation for reward. And so in those kind of actions, which could be something like serving your parents or serving your partner or serving your children, but you're not giving it really out of a sense of obligation or out of a sense of they manipulated you. You're actually just giving. Now, it could be that in that case, maybe the wound has to be healed in order for you to be a good karma yogi.
Yes.
Because
yes.
otherwise.
Yes, that's exactly, you just got to the point. For you to be able to give, you need to heal that wound. Otherwise, even though you want, because you want to do it, you really want to be giving this amazing and beautiful love, but the inner child is pulsing with those needs internally. And it's like, yes, I'm giving that, but I'm expecting somehow to receive something.
Yeah.
And so when you're expecting, that means that the inner child is not fulfilled.
Yeah. And we cannot give consciously, like in this state of unconditional giving and unconditional love, if our inner child is still lacking something, which all our inner childs are. So unless we first give us first self-love, everything that our inner child needs from us, in that point, and we can connect with divine love, with the spirit, with the universe, with God, and in that point we can give this unconditional. But if we are lacking something, it's impossible, because how can a person without a shirt can give you a shirt? It's not possible.
Yes, definitely. And also, when we come to this physical plane, that love came through our parents. They just also didn't see it that way. So they cannot give you what they didn't feel they have. So the thing here is that, hold on. So where was I? I forgot. Yes, that moment that have that love, the divine love we were talking about, and it comes through them to us. But our physical reality don't see it that way. So that's when we have to somehow integrate moment that within our heart to also integrate and recognize that divine love within ourselves.
That gave us life.
That gave us life. We were a miracle of that love. It's no matter how it happened, no matter how it happened, we are that miracle of love, because actually life was the one who brought us here. Life itself. Parents were only the channels of life for us. So those dynamics, now we can understand that all that they are showing is a lack of something. They happen because we feel we are lacking something, and we accept to play those dynamics, those unconscious dynamics. And that's how it works until we get to recognize it, until we decide to heal these wounds, until we decide to integrate our parents, until we get to recognize that life itself brought us here, that we have a divine origin, that we have it all, but we cannot see it. And so my invitation, of course, is to do constellations, because you can do all of these little steps that you need to fulfill that tank of love. So once you feel fulfilled, you're not looking for that love anywhere else. And we can define love in many ways, but love is a combination of everything. So once we have this tank fulfilled, then we are not looking for that love outside, because we have it here. No matter what happens outside, you know that if you feel like you need to do something to get whatever, you can embrace yourself, your inner child, and that divine love. So, thank you, mi amor, pero no, yo no, ahorita no, estoy aquí ocupadita también. Más tarde, mi amor, cuando termine aquí. Gracias.
I need to eat this too. So.
Eat, you eat. You eat, and then I'll eat.
I'm gonna eat it all.
Eat it all if you want to. Thank you, Angelito. Quítate esa ropa que está mojada, please.
No.
And so, that's pretty much what it is, the information that I wanted to share today. I don't know if you have any other questions.
I find that is so important what you shared today, because for me is something like to give every day find and ask myself, what do I need? Not only in a physical level, of course I need something, but also on a soul level. What do I need, so I don't demand my partner to look at me in some way, or to pay attention to me, or whatever. Whenever I feel I'm demanding, I can realize, wow, I'm needing something for myself.
Yes, what are my emotional demands?
Exactly.
And who am I waiting for? Who to give them to me?
Yes, so it's like, for me, something of everyday act of love, act of self-love.
It's an act of self-love to give yourself, or to give your inner child what he or she needs. Yeah. Because no one else can give you that, because you already have it within you. But you must, like the constellation, give you the opportunity to integrate mom and dad. And once you feel like you have mom and dad here, that inner child feels more loved, secure, protected, seen. Everything is that. If the mom and dad are here, then everything is okay. Then you don't need to look for anything else outside. If you do something good, you don't look for recognition. If you did something, you don't need to look for validation outside, because you already have it here. And that is when you really get to step into another level of consciousness.
Yeah.
Yes. So I don't know if you have more questions, Dan.
No, I think I get it, Maya. Thank you.
Beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, I think that it's a practice. I think the meditation work that we do too with the twin hearts can help to fill that heart. You know, it's a process.
It's a process. Yes, it has a process, and if we do those little steps, then it definitely can. It's a good beginning. It's a good possibility for you to start doing changes and attracting something else, or a different relationship, or changing your relationship, or improving your relationship by taking the steps to become a conscious adult instead of just that inner child with those needs.
I think I recommend make that into a bumper sticker. I'm a conscious adult. Or try to be a conscious adult today.
We all try to be a conscious adult, but we are not only by trying, but by being.
I like what you and Mar both said about the idea of asking, what do I need today on a soul level or an emotional level? I think that's really powerful advice, because it's easy to fall into a trap of sort of just demanding these things from the world or from the people around you, you know, instead of realizing that a lot of times it has to come from within in some way.
Exactly.
So thank you
That's what
for
it is.
sharing.
Okay, we're gonna leave here then this information.